What is up, folks? Close and paid homies. So, day to day, pretty much every single day, I will kind of review funnels. And I don't actively go out and look for funnels, really. I just come across them naturally, right, on Twitter. And I really like to look at what people are doing, what seems like what's new, what people are doing that doesn't work, etc. And there's no right or wrong way in doing any of this stuff. Um, and so what I say today in my review of these kind of things is up for interpretation, right? But I just wanted to do a review of this funnel because there are a few aspects here that I thought were really cool, quite new, etc. And then some of them I kind of felt against, right? And I want to go through it. So I don't know who this is, and I'm sure this probably will get ended up in his hands and he'll watch. And this isn't to say anyone's doing something wrong or whatever. I just think it's educational to look at things like this. So I came across Mason's offer somehow. I think it came on Twitter, and so I looked through his funnel, right? And one thing I think that's really cool here is not everyone really even thinks about this, but it's deemed here an application call. Like that, I know it's such a small, nuanced aspect of it, and people don't really think about it too often. But an application call is a different perspective than a free strategy or a consult or a click here, book to learn more, right? Those are all like suggesting I'm trying to win your business. Now, Mason's gone with application call, and that's like, it's small, but it's saying, I'm not trying to win your business. Like, you're applying to work with me, okay? And that's the positioning that I really think everyone should be using. So let's just click here, name, email, phone number. Right, let's just say the one thing, and if you've read my latest kind of piece in the Close and Paid group about, booking more prospects, more of your ideal prospect, qualifying them, getting them to show up, closing them on a longer time frame. Recently wrote that piece. One thing I spoke about often in there is optimizing for booked calls, right? And there's a sliding scale, right? But one thing that's true is when you have an application, and you take the rough with the smooth here, but the longer the application, the more people will fall off, right? That's just a given, right? And that might not be a negative for you. You might be implementing as much friction in there as possible to stop people booking to waste time, right? So there's no real right or wrong there, but just bear that in mind. So all, normal at the top. And then what is your goal income in profit per month for your brand within the next 12 months? We are looking for a minimum and not a best case. I think it's a really fucking good question because it's implying we're not doing hypotheticals here. Like, what is a fucking minimum I want to be hitting? Because we've got to be realistic here, and we're not doing this. I would be happy with making this and this. No. What's the fucking minimum? Let's put a target on it. So we can actually work towards that. Obviously, we'll give Mason an understanding of where your mindset is with this. Now we've got something here, which this is something I don't necessarily agree with, right? So it's like, if you were to achieve the outcome in the question above, how much would that mean to you? Now, this for me is that kind of like NEPQ emotional type questioning, right? And even though if you watch my stuff, I fucking detest that type of questioning, especially B2B, especially kind of high level. Like, I'd feel sick trying to ask anything on that level. But it does work in some cases, right? And you've got to think, why does it work? Well, it works because you can, on sales calls, like done in a certain way, emotion is built up in the prospects, depending on how you, and I hate the term, but how you build that value, right? You can get to an emotional state. I have spoken to many women who would just start crying on the call with me. No, I'm not even trying to do it, but they do. And so it shows, emotions brought in. That's why NAPQ is kind of, these types of questioning are used, because it's like you get them to that state and it's like, how would you feel? How would that make you feel in that state? You know, how much would that mean to you? You know, and the way I see this as well is like those questions, if to be used, are used on a call when you're in that state. Okay. The opposite side of this is you don't want to have any questions in a funnel, in an application, that are just throwaways. Right? You need to think of what's essential and what is not to achieve the outcome. Now, for me, it's like, if you were to achieve the outcome in the question above, how would that make you feel? How much would it mean to you? I'm putting myself, right? It's a one of one, but I'm putting myself in those shoes. Like B2B, I'm a business owner. You know, I'm going to be putting, 50 to 100K a month, minimum. How much would it mean to you? I'm like, what kind of answer are we looking for here? How is it going to affect anything? I'm not going to get emotional, and I would expect most high-level business owners who he's probably looking to work with, who are serious, I'm going to give this much time, time of the day. How much would it mean to you? Yeah, that'd be great. What do you want? No, it'd be shit. Like, what kind of answer is really going to change? Like, oh my God, it would be so fucking amazing if you can help me. Or I'd be able to do this for my kids and stuff. Like, high-level people ain't going to do it. Most people are going to be going through an application and putting the least amount of info as possible. It's got to be simplistic, So that's like open-ended in text. I would say, and I could be proven wrong, that the answers here are probably not that conducive. Could be wrong. Now, next question. Are you ready and able to invest at this time in your brand to reach your goals? If yes, how much are you willing to invest in a coaching program to hit your profit goals within the next 3 to 6 months? These types of questions, like, I absolutely get this, right? There has to be some kind of quantitative budgeting type question that helps you qualify as well, right? But it's all relative. It's all relative, and that people have no idea what's coming, and it's like, cool, like, yeah, well, if you got me to 100K per month in the next 12 months, it's hard for anyone to think of what I would be willing to spend, because it's not just a one-off payment, like, here it is, boom, I'm done. It's like a one-off payment, and then, or maybe more payments recurring. We don't know that yet. It could be stressful. There's an element of like, what is the motivation to change? That's massive in a sale. We all want something, but we don't always want something so much that we're willing to make that change and what that entails. And so you've got a question at this point. If we're asking this type of question, it's never going to be that accurate, because until we know and understand what it entails and the relationship, and whether there's even a fit in terms of like person to person, can't give a good answer here. And at the same time, people don't want to generally, like, this is psychological, they don't want to be putting, yes, $15,000 plus. Reason being is because no one wants to give a specific budget amount, and that's like plus, without knowing things. And the reason is because like they don't want to be sold based on what they've put. That's just general. And so people go round and round changing all this stuff. And I'm not saying this does not work. I'm not saying it's not helpful. But for me, there's a better question is kind of like, in terms of, firstly, it's 2 questions. That's another point. I don't think there should ever be 2 questions. If you ask 2 questions of anything, you never get the real good one answer. And so it might be better to say, are you ready and able to invest at this time in your brand to reach your goals? Yes or no? Right? Simple. Yes or no. And if they put no, we would use Calendly routing to not enable them to book a call. So the problem people have is they have things like, no, I'm not available, I'm not ready at this time. And they put this in brackets, please do not book a call. It's a fucking shit show because like you still allow people to actually book the call. You know, they still get on the call, they still kind of waste your minutes of thought, you know, which is not worth it. So number one, it could be, are you ready to and able to invest at this time in your brand to reach your goals? Yes or no? No. If they click no, it's not going to allow them to actually go to the next steps. Next question. If yes, right, and what you can have on Calendly also, I think, is like if they click a certain option, it then opens up the next question, whereas it wouldn't otherwise, right? So if yes, how much are you willing to invest in a coaching program to hit your profit goals within the next 3 to 6 months? So there's one more little caveat here. It's like, what's your goal income profit per month with your brand within the next 12 months? The way people conceive that is, I'm going to be working for 12 months. I'm going to be paying someone for 12 months, right? Think about like how you're going to perceive it. I'm going to be implementing things. It's going to be a lot of work. 12 months, that's a lot. Okay. But below it says to hit your profit goals within the next 3 to 6 months. So it's a slight kind of different positioning of the message. And what I would probably do is be like, what's your goal income profit per month for your brand within the next 3 to 6 months? Right? Just so they match each other and it's congruent. Or just have how much you're willing to invest in a coaching program to hit your profit goals within the next 12 months. Right? Congruent. The next thing is I would change the question entirely and go with something like, you know, in terms of your investment with me, are you happy for me to advise based on my expertise, or do you have any restrictions or constraints I should be wary of or mindful of? Okay? And the options would be, number one, like, happy to take your advice. The cool thing about that is the positioning also. It's like saying, look, at the end of the day, I'm the expert here. So once I understand where you're at and your company and your goals and how quick it might take to get there, I'm going to suggest what that investment is going to be because I've worked it out. And people would prefer that because your expertise is going to outline it based on calculations, not just randomly told you I'll spend more than 15k, right? And then your other options would be, because, you know, we asked happy to take my advice, or, you know, are there any restrictions I should bear in mind? And then the next question should be less than 5k, less than 10, less than 15. Much better, because they're saying I'm not willing, regardless, to spend over a certain amount, right? People would rather say that. People would rather say what they don't want to spend over than mindlessly suggesting they would spend over certain amounts. You know, like you might even get high-level people going, I don't really know what this entails, how much work, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I don't know. I could spend 15k, but I don't want to tell him that. So, yeah, 5 to 7, you know. But you've got this battle between what I'm perceiving, the person's perceiving, and what, like, Mason is trying to achieve, right? So that's how I would kind of change that. Is your store built with Shopify? Do you use Klaviyo for email marketing? What's your website? So many questions in there. It's kind of annoying. It's like you could use checkboxes. Check next to the thing that you are using. Is your shop built with any of these? Check the box, Shopify or something else, right? And if like, for instance, Mason doesn't work with people who don't have Shopify, then like it just wouldn't allow them to book a call because they've chosen something else, just as an example. Now, I like this. If you are accepted into the program, when would you like to start with the coaching? Right? Immediately. Okay? 1 to 2 months, 2+ months. I don't like any of this type of, and again, this is just my personal opinion, but I don't like any of this. Please do not book now. Book a call when you're ready to start. It's like saying, I ain't going to do any calls and trying to help you and give you information. Like, and when I say information, I like about the process, about how it works. That's important. So when you start to be this upfront, and I'm all for being upfront, by the way, like positioning to say if you're accepted in program, brilliant. But having this option like 1 to 2 months, and then please do not book right now, book a call when you're ready to start. It's like, I don't know whether I'm fucking ready to start. I know that sounds stupid, but like people can be looking at many options. They know they're fairly ready. They know they want to invest in something, but they don't know whether they're ready to start. And Mason's process might be like, well, yeah, that's fine. Still book the call with me. And if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. But it's more so the concept of the positioning and how people perceive it. Please do not book please do not book right now. Book when we're to start. I'm like, I personally, I'd be like, forget it then. Forget it. Like I also want to feel open to booking. I want to feel kind of welcomed. If I'm here to have my meta ads done or whatever, I want it to be in a professional's hands, someone who's competent, someone who's positioned it like this, like as the expert. That's good. Like people will be like, okay, perfect. Like I just want someone who's got the fucking expertise. Hand it to you. But guys, getting across these types of messages and positioning is a different game when it's text format, email format, application format. How you say something via text like this, and then how you say it person to person on Zoom is massively different. On the Zoom call, you can interpret emotion and you can say it in a tonality and pace that applies. If you kind of understand that. But when it's like this, it's like you tread that line of kind of just putting them up before you've even had that chance. And again, just what I would say here is like, if you're accepting the program, when would you like to start coaching? Calendly routing. If they choose, if they want us immediately in 1 to 2 months, or immediately or in the next 4 weeks, that should be welcomed, in my opinion, because you can have people on the call, and if they like it but they're not ready to start 4 weeks, you've got that option of everyone should know, like the bridge concept, the deposit down, the custom game plan, so you're kind of moving that sale forward and not letting go dead. But use Calendly routing, where if they choose 2+ months, when they click next at the bottom, it would go to a screen that says like, now would not be the best time. Unfortunately, now would not be the best time to book a call. I might give a reason. I'm incredibly busy. I only have certain amounts of slots. Here's some information. Here's a video and a PDF for you to read through and watch, so you can really understand what I do on a personal level. You might break it down a bit more. And so when you are ready in the next 2 months, please go through the application again or send me an email and we can jump on a chat. Now you're respecting them, welcoming them, but you're also respecting your own time and resources. Right? And people do respect that. Then we've got, you confirm that you understand if you do not show up to your call without notice or shadowing, you will be blacklisted from ever joining my programs, and any future calls you book will be cancelled. I quite like this. Right? And I think brands, it's harder with brands. Personal brands is easier because the positioning I always talk about is very important. You can put yourself here. You are the expert, blah, blah, blah. Your time is not to be wasted, right? And so everyone has this problem nowadays, and I speak about it a lot, with no-shows. Paid traffic no-shows, massive, So these types of questions nowadays are kind of essential, and you've got to determine how kind of pushy you want to be about it and how like standoff you want to be. But I just genuinely think it's a good idea to be like, to just say, you don't have to say all of that, but you confirm or just put, you understand that if you do not show up to your call without notice or shut-in, you will be blacklisted, end. Because the whole, from ever joining my programs and any future calls you book will be cancelled, like, it is kind of over the top. You can get it done with shorter amount of words there. But yeah, I'm big into this kind of stuff, guys. But I do also question, if like something happened, an emergency, they do happen every now and again. I wouldn't want to be blacklisted, right? But anyway, what primary channel led you to finding Mason booking this call? This is very important. I do believe people should be getting this information because it helps you with designing your funnels. It helps with like putting more money into certain channels, etc. But the other side of the coin is, again, how many questions have you got in here that are necessary, like crucial? We want to optimize for the booked call. We want to optimize for qualified people. Anything kind of out of that scope, question it. And so this can be done automatically in some cases. I know there are programs that do it, but you can also like have that just in your script. It can literally be, and I know some people do it in the opening like sentences. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, good. How did you find me, by the way? Boom. You note it down. It's in your CRM. Just to save that kind of digital real estate. If we give you all the information that you need and you feel confident in your ability to achieve results with our methods, do you confirm that you are ready to move forward and begin taking action today? For me, wasted digital real estate. Because we've already got we've got this where we're trying to say don't fucking book the call if you're not ready right now immediately. And then we're pretty much doing it again. Right? It's all well and good to confirm things, like just confirm you this, confirm that, but now we're kind of wasting space. And it's giving off a perception of fuck man, I don't even want to fucking book this call now. I'm kind of put off. What's basically happening here is, and again, this is a continuum, but someone's trying to book a call with only the people who are just absolutely agreeing 100% that I'm ready fucking to do it now. And it's a slippery slope, right? Because you have to have qualification and understand urgency and stuff like that. But you also have to just accept that not everyone is going to be ready right now. And sometimes the human connection, guys, I found is massive as well. Some people might not be ready right now, but sometimes you get on a call with them and that, they buy into you, they see more, they understand more. And that thought of I'm not ready for a few months is taken down, and they want to be ready sooner. They are excited, think of it like this. Before we invest into something, we all want that excitement from doing it. What we're going to get out of it is exciting. A lot of that is built on a call. It's hard to build that here. So well and good saying, what do you want to be at? 500 grand a month? Cool. Right? The NEPQ questions, all that's emotion is done face to face, visual stuff, So it's kind of a bit pointless. By booking this call, you agree that you are serious about moving forward. And look, we're doing the same thing and will not waste my time. It's what constitutes wasting time? Right? I'm just thinking, I'm putting myself in the shoes. I want to book a call, but what constitutes wasting time? I want to understand, in depth how it's done. And because I'm speaking to another Facebook ads guy. It's cool, you might not even want to speak to me because I'm comparing, but that's what people do. And if you can win deals and you don't have to be desperate, you don't have to be kind of gay about it, but you can win a lot of deals I've found by being yourself on the call. And if that resonates, boom, you don't have to do any pushy sales tactics. So forward and will not waste my time. This is not a consultation call where you can ask for free advice. I get it. But again, perception, you've got to be careful. We want to make sure people don't just come on to just ask advice. They're trying to get an hour's worth of you telling me what to do so I can go and do it, right? But people will still be wanting some advice, no doubt. People still see this as advice, right? So the wording, got to be careful. The purpose of the call is to determine if you're fit for the program. I agree. Right? So again, I think it's kind of wasted. It's digital real estate that doesn't need, you probably lose people. You've got to be careful about perception. I think saying the purpose of the call is to determine if you're a fit program, I agree. That's fine. Quick check. Like everyone will agree to that, you know. Um, I do also think like with people saying that, I automatically think, what is a good fit? Can you not make this available to people before booking a call? Do you know what I mean? Because we're showing that we're careful about this and we qualify according to this and we don't want to waste time. But then people don't know what a good fit is. So they're like, well, what, do I fucking do it? Do I try and get on? And then what? You might think I'm wasting your time, you know? And so we do have the option, like all of this digital real estate could be used by saying, purpose of this call is to determine if you're fit for the program. I agree. Yes. No. And then underneath could be an understanding of is a bullet point list of who is a fit, of what we look for, who we work with. It's like brands. You have a solution, you fix X amount of problems. You can tell them, we offer this solution and we fix these 4 problems. Pick which one aligns. Then you're actually getting something from it, right? So I think telling people what is a good fit, if we're going to tell them to confirm that's what this call is about, at least give them a bit of understanding there. But yeah, anyway, hopefully everyone's found this fucking helpful. I might do more of these because I literally read them every day, these types of things, and I think it's really interesting to see what people are doing. And another plug here, use Calendly routing, guys, so that when people choose certain options, you don't have to be saying, please do not book a call. It will just not let them book the call. So all those people who are not there, not quite ready, and not the qualified, you still give them benefit. It might land on a page that has a VSL, it has stuff to download, it has client results. All these things on the table.